Hey there, Grace Church. Hope this finds you well and enjoying all the feelings that come along with the planning and preparation for the summer months. And listen, we as a staff, we've also been doing some planning and preparing of our own as we begin to organize ourselves for the future that God has for our church. And as many of you know, I've had the privilege of serving as the McKean site pastor for the last 6 years, as well as serving as the executive pastor of sites for the last 3. We've also known that there probably would come a day where I would need to fully lean into the role and responsibilities as the executive pastor to better position us as a church for the future plans that God has in store for us. And along with that comes the reality that it is time for me to close my chapter as the McKean site pastor, a role that I consider an absolute honor to have filled. It is a role that needs the right person with the right skill set to carry forward the vision that God has intended for our McKean congregation. And over the last year or so, we have been prayerfully coming before God, asking for His insight and guidance as to who He may have in mind to lead the next chapter of the story at Grace McKean. Well, I'm happy to announce that that day has come. Through many conversations, and to be honest, providential circumstances that only God would orchestrate, we feel confident that God has been preparing Andrew Silbert to be that person. So over the next few months, Pastor Mike and I will be working alongside Andrew to onboard him into his new role. And listen, to say that I am excited to see what God has in store for this dude is an understatement. So, with all that being said, it is my privilege to introduce Andrew Silbert to you as the next Grace McKean site lead. Andrew, we are so excited for you, my friend. So here's what I'd love to do. I got a couple of questions I think that will help the McKean congregation and Grace Church at large to get to know you. Awesome. But it's always good to start out with, tell us a little bit about who you are, your family, and kind of how you got to Erie.
Sure, yeah. So I'll start out with I'm a child of God. It's kind of my primary identity. I've been a Christian, walking with the Lord for about 30 years, and that's been the biggest piece of my life. It's kind of dictated the other things. So I am a husband to a gorgeous wife, Addie. We met in college. We've been married we're going to be 17 years in August.
You just got bonus points for the whole gorgeous wife thing, so good
awesome,
job.
Awesome. And I'm going to say I have 3 beautiful daughters as well. Yeah, I feel like a king at home. It's pretty awesome. So. We just finished building a house in the region, and we have 3 big dogs, 2 cats. We got kind of a farm zoo thing going on. It's great.
Farm or zoo, both?
Yeah. Both. Each day is different. It's great. Came back to the region in 2021, kind of to be closer to family. And, it's been great. We joined the Grace congregation, the Grace family, about 18 months ago. Yeah. And that's been one of the richest experiences we've had since we've been here. Now to be on staff is just adds to it. It's just a huge blessing. So
that's cool to hear. So for those of you who don't know, this dude's got a lot of unique gifts. So you can sing. You can play the guitar. You just have this deep well of biblical knowledge and insight, but you also have this deep passion for God's church. So what I'd love for you to, I'm gonna just give you a couple of minutes to tell us where that all came from.
Yeah, sure. And it's a long story, but I think it starts kind of, again, I grew up in a family that really highly prioritized not only being in church, but just the raising, my parents raised us up and kind of that, the truth and grace of knowing Jesus, of following Him. I certainly haven't done that perfectly. I don't think anybody has, but it's just that's what it is. But they really instilled a deep love and passion for learning more, following Jesus more closely, and again, like I said, just raising us in the church. So I've been in church and around church, and for all of my life, I like to think of it as kind of a home away from home. It's just always felt that way to me. When I was a kid, I've had different experiences in different churches, kind of walked through some church hurt when I was a kid, walked through a couple of situations in high school and college where churches kind of fell apart a little bit. But again, through my family, my parents especially, just kind of reminder that we're all broken people, and I think coming through that just gave me this desire for building the church and kind of walking into ministry. It's taken a while for me to kind of build the, let the Lord kind of do that in my life and lead into that, step into that. And that's, some stuff that I've dealt with, some insecurities and some fears and some, trepidation. But over the course of the past year and a half, God's really done some amazing, deep work in my life. He's opened up a lot of opportunities. And I guess that's a brief history.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that it's been a journey for you that hasn't just been this like up and to the right kind of trajectory. It's been more of a weavy, windy road, and amongst all of that, or amidst it, you learned more about not just who you are, who God created you to be, but you've also learned who He is, and it sounds like you've anchored onto that. A little bit more.
Definitely, and I think again, like you mentioned, Scott, it's been an up and down road over the course of my life, through a lot of different situations and scenarios. When Addie and I found out we were going to be parents for the first time, we found out about 18 weeks into that journey that our first daughter, Jovi, was going to have some significant challenges if she made it past a year, if she made it past birth. And in that moment, I think God really met us in a place of kind of deep darkness and confusion, and really drew us closer to one another by drawing us closer to Himself. And, so that really, I think, ignited a spark. And just kind of, for me, as a husband and a father, first-time father, I really said, I've got to lean on the one thing I can count on, the one God that I know is faithful. And so walking through that and being in a deep valley, and then watching how the Lord just kind of lifted me out of Psalm 40, lifted me out of the pit, put my feet on a solid rock, and really did some deep work in my life in that moment. And then just more recently even, I know kind of the story of me coming to Grace and kind of being on staff here. We've got some twists and turns to it. And, being kind of in the process of exploring some staff opportunities. And then my wife, Addie, that was January 1st, 2023, diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And kind of put a big, just kind of a big bump in the road.
Sure.
And a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things that I realized I was holding on to, and some securities, some things that I had put my faith and trust, I think, in, that all of a sudden I started to question. And that moment led to a couple of really, I want to say deep, dark months. But out of that, noticing that God was walking with me, with us. And Scott, if I look back, I can tell the story of just the deep work again that He did. He's faithful to accomplish those good purposes, And being able to kind of put that in perspective, and then be able to do some self-examination, and for God to actually be able to, I think, deal a little harshly with me, which was good. Pull some stuff out of my life that didn't belong there, recenter me, and say, hey, Andrew, I made you for a purpose, and it's time to walk in that path, right? It's time to do it. It's time to go.
So let's talk about the path. Right? Let's talk a little bit about the path, because through everything that went along with Addie and the diagnosis, and then the refining work that God was doing, there was also a little bit further down the road this planning, preparation, this prayerful consideration that was happening inside you. What one or two of those key moments where you felt like this calling became clear for you?
I'll point to one very specific moment, and I remember kind of as I was walking through, kind of, I think, getting to the other side of that darkness, really realizing the Lord was really, he was doing some deep work. He was positioning me and kind of moving me towards something bigger. And I remember one night standing on my back porch, kind of looking out over a beautiful sunset. We had a great view of the sunset, and just kind of crying out to the Lord and saying, God, I've responded recently to opportunities that you've put in front of me out of my own fear, out of trepidation, out of a lack of trust. And I want to remove that. I want to be done with that, And I remember praying specifically, just saying, Lord, I believe you built me for ministry. I believe you built me for full-time, and actually saying those, verbalizing that, right?
Yeah, because like
ministry, ministry,
I'd
be like, I can do ministry anywhere, but no, I believe, Lord, you've called me to full-time ministry in a church setting, and being able to kind of verbalize that, and then to pray, and these are the scary prayers where you're like, Lord, if that opportunity were to come around again, I'm committing now. I'm going to say yes.
That's awesome.
And I can't tell. It was probably a couple weeks later.
Yeah.
Started had lunch with Keith, Pastor Keith, and then had lunch with you. Derek made some comments at the annual celebration. Just things kind of started to happen, and the Lord really started to open some amazing doors that I just, I know it was Him.
Yeah.
And it's, when you know it's Him, it's, I think, a lot easier to walk through those doors confidently. So
True that. When you're like 51% sure.
Tips
the scales.
Right,
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
All right, let's do a couple of light ones. Favorite hobbies?
I mean, music, playing the guitar, writing songs.
I wish I could do that, but I can't. I'm not good. I can't. Keep going.
I love painting, actually. Watercolors, acrylics, oils. I love sports. I don't call it a hobby. Like, I love playing sports. I don't get a lot of opportunities to play competitive team sports. Yeah. But I love watching sports too. Yeah. Doing all that stuff. And again, I don't know if it's a hobby or not, but just hanging out with my kids. We've been playing like card games recently. We started playing Snap, which is the one where you just like slap your hand on matching cards. I dominate, dude. It's like not even. No, and I seriously, like, there's no chance. I am undefeated.
I can't wait till they take you down one day. It's gonna be awesome.
This is gonna be great.
All right, so you said earlier you like dogs.
Love dogs.
But you got cats too.
Got cats too, yeah.
Do you like the cats as much as you like the dogs?
Dogs, I feel like, is a love relationship, and cats are more transactional. Like, they keep my house free from their pets.
Half the people hearing this right now are loving you, and the other half.
I know.
So
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know.
How do you best connect with God?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think prayer and scripture reading are kind of the great moments where you can really connect with God deeply. I think for me, though, it's always been in His creation. Yeah. I think nature is just such a big part of who I am, what He's kind of uniquely wired me to kind of recognize His creativity. And I love in Romans 1 where it kind of talks about, His eternal qualities, His divine nature, His eternal power, revealed in nature, revealed by what's been created. Yeah. And just to see, again, a sunset, a sunrise. Right now we have a field in front of our house, and the grass just waves like water. And it's, I think of green pastures, still waters, things like that. So it's,
pretty cool.
Nature is a place that I've always just found a deep connection with God. So,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a fan of rapid fire questions, and you don't know these. Let's just be clear. He does not know these. And so these are fun for me. So if you get no joy out of them, I know that I am getting a lot of joy out of them. All right, you ready?
This is Scott time.
This is total Scott. Yeah. Favorite ice cream?
Cookie dough.
Okay.
Can I say hot fudge sundae? Cookie dough.
Okay. Favorite football team?
New England Patriots.
Okay. Well, go Browns. Kale or cauliflower?
Cauliflower.
Oh, that was too
Simon
fast.
And quit. Yeah, come on.
Wow. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
No.
Oh,
it's not a Christmas.
Pastor Mike.
No, it's not. Mike.
That was a Pastor Mike
Christmas
question.
movie,
That's so funny. Favorite boy band?
Oh, man. NSYNC. It's gotta be, right? I was gonna say O-Town. I don't think anybody knows it.
Maybe Beach Boys? I don't know. I mean, they were like the OGs.
No. Yeah, but it's boy band.
Okay.
It's a certain vibe.
All right, that's good. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Fall or spring?
Fall.
I'm done. It's good.
All right.
All right.
It's good.
So, good job. You handled it.
Yeah.
You did it pretty well. So you've been at Grace, you said, for about 18 months now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love most about the people at Grace?
The authenticity. I mean, honestly, it's great to show up to a place on Sunday morning and realize that I'm getting the real version of somebody. And that goes for our leadership team. That goes for everybody that I've met. And to know that people, when you show up and somebody asks you how you're doing, they actually want to know.
Yeah.
And legitimately will stand there and listen to you and pray with you if needed. Will take the time to invest in a relationship has been a huge blessing. So yeah, that's just the authenticity and the care and support that just seems to be a universal vibe around here. So yeah,
Pretty spot on.
it's awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, so you're here on camera right now.
Yes.
Captive audience.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were sitting across the table from someone at Grace McKean,
Mm-hmm.
what is the thing you would want them to know?
Yeah. I would say God loves you. God has uniquely designed you. He's uniquely wired you. He's given you unique gifts, abilities. He's given you a purpose and a calling. And he's given you a kingdom to live that out in. And I think it's awesome that he loves us so much that he sent his son to die for us, to allow us to really live an abundant life in that kingdom. So, and I'll just say, from moving into this position, I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more filled with joy, with hope, with anticipation for what God is going to do, in our congregation, through our congregation, in our region, in this specific time and place. I am just thrilled to be a piece of the puzzle here at Grace McKean, at Grace Church in this region. Just to be to watch and to get to support, get to lead, but just get to be a part of what God is doing in this amazing place with an amazing group of people. So, love you guys. God bless you guys. I'm excited. I'm excited for the journey, and I'm humbled. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, here's the thing. It floors me on a regular basis to watch what God does and how He continues to bless our church with amazing people like yourselves, amazing volunteers, and also just amazing leaders. And I know that I'm excited for you. I know our staff is excited for you, and I hope that you share in the excitement as we get to watch, have a front row seat. As God begins to unveil what He has in store for you and for your family and for the Grace McKean family as well. And so, thanks for saying yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening, gang. And I would just ask that you cover him and his family in your prayers in the months ahead. It's a transition, obviously, but it's a transition that is always unexpected at times with circumstances, and so I just ask that you cover him and his family in prayer. And lastly, do me a favor, keep being awesome for Jesus. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.